Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I love? Patreon.com/inkdependence, where patrons get access to a patron-only Discord, ad-free videos, and the joy of knowing they help support this channel. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and today I have a pen for you. A pen from Narwhal and our friends over at Goldspot Pens. You can find this at goldspot.com starting today, the 12th of March. This is a really cool pen. It's my favorite model from Narwhal, and I'm really glad they sent this out for me to check out. So thank you very much, Goldspot, for sending this pen out for me to show it to everyone. This is the Narwhal Nautilus Horsehead Nebula. It's the Nahvalur, or Narwhal is how you pronounce that, Nautilus Horsehead Nebula Double Broads. Let's get in this box. Inside the sleeve, you'll find a box. You'll lift up this little magnetic flap. You'll find a Narwhal card here, which has instructions on the back for how to fill this pen and all that jazz. Don't break the cap, put it in the ink, screw that back down, and away you go. This is a very nice piston-filled pen, and then there is the pen in the box. You can already tell this is a very cool looking pen. And here you have the Nautilus, which, as I said, is my favorite of the Narwhal pens. I will have a few over here that I'll show you in comparison, but I think this is just kind of their best model. It's a really nice feel in the hand. All the ones that I have work excellently. I've got, I don't know, 2 or 3 more of these, and they're pretty great. They come in a lot of materials. They're like ebonites and all that sort of thing. But this one, the Horsehead Nebula, is in a very nice acrylic done by Starry Night Resins. Which, I mean, they've really captured sort of the colors of the Horsehead Nebula. If you go out and Google pictures of what this nebula looks like through the new fancy space telescopes that we have, it's got all these kind of colors going on. You have these nice swoops of purple, this great pop of orange, some nice dark blue, a smattering of very nice stars in there. Just kind of beautiful. Now, they are all going to look a little bit different just because of the nature of the resin, but with this color combo, I don't know if you can really go wrong. It's pretty beautiful. All right, now as far as the Nautilus itself goes, it's a fairly large cigar-shaped pen. As you can see there, I have pretty big hands, and this is a fairly large pen. Up here at the top, you have a very nice reflective finial. This one happens to be gold. Hey, there's my face and my finger. There's all my lighting setup up there. Very reflective. Going down the cap, you have this very distinctive clip, which is sort of a half-cylinder sort of clip. Right there. Very nice usable clip. It's got a good amount of flex to it. This will go over a pocket with no problem, but my shirt pockets are not deep enough for this pen. So I usually would just stick it in my shirt placket, which is like, you know, the place with the buttons on the front of a dress shirt. And that works just fine. It's a very nice deep carry, actually, if you throw it in that placket. This is all that sticks out, which is pretty good, and this giant clip, but pretty much this. So yeah, pretty nice. Going down here, you have this very nice cap band, which is, it has to be set a little bit on the busy side. It does say Narwhal there. We have a nice wave motif. It's actually kind of so shiny, it's hard to focus on for my camera there, but this is pretty, and I think even though it is a bit on the busy side, it does fit the aesthetic of the pen very well, and so I kind of dig that. Below that, you'll see there are these little portholes, and actually you can see the ink kind of sloshing around in there. I have this filled with a nice dark blue ink, as you'll see here soon when I do a writing sample, and you can see that through the portholes. Now, when it does get lower, you'll be able to see the ink level, which is extremely useful. One thing to notice is that there are only 3 of these holes, which means none of them are actually opposed to one another. So if you want to see through them, you kind of want to turn it to the side a little bit so you can see through this hole and this hole straight through. If you look at it like this, it's always going to be black because there's not a hole on this side. So just keep that in mind. Look through this side over here so you get opposing holes. Then here you have a little gold band as well, and then this is the piston knob, which, as I said, this is inked, so I'm not going to turn this piston knob. That would make a big old mess, but you just turn this to move the piston inside. It's a very easy filling system. Now, taking off the cap, you can see no cap liner in here, but I can tell you these caps are actually really good at maintaining a quality seal. There's not a whole lot of room actually up in there for air and that sort of thing, and so I have put this model of pen into a drawer for like actual months at a time with no problem of it drying out or anything like that. So really nice cap seal on that, and I appreciate that as somebody who has a lot of pens inked at all times. The nib is actually, in comparison to the cap band and such, a little bit plain. There's not a whole lot going on here. You have a nice little wave motif here. You have the narwhal and a few little squiggles up there by the breather hole and the nib slit. These are number 6-ish size nibs. They are made in-house by Narwhal, and they come in sizes fine through double broad. I, of course, course, got the double broad. As you can see, this is not the biggest double broad on the block. It definitely puts down a nice thick line, but it's not, huge. It is, however, going to be a good candidate for getting nib grinds and that sort of thing done on there because, I mean, why not, right? You've got a lot of tipping, and if you don't want to just big round tipping, you can totally get a nice stub or something like that ground onto this nib if you like. But it is quite nice on its own, and I've actually never gotten any of these ground. This might be an exception. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I do have a few of these narwhals, and I do like them a lot. The threads up here are very nice and flat. You can see they're kind of squared off on the edge. And so even if you hold your pen fairly high up, they're not going to probably bother your fingers. Although there is a little bit of a step there. It's a pretty gentle step. And it's nicely, I think, I can focus just on that step there. Yeah, it's pretty nicely curved off, so I don't think that's going to bother any fingers. I tend to hold further down here, and so I don't have any problem with those threads at all. And actually, I mean, look at that thread of purple going through there. Beautiful chatoyance on the top of this particular one. All right, so let's look at this next to a bunch of other pens, talk about some stats and all that, and then do a writing sample. Okay, so here we have the Narwhal Nautilus in line with a whole bunch of other pens, including a TWSBI Eco, a Leonardo Momenta Zero, a Platinum 3776, and then of course our Horsehead Nebula here, and then a couple of other narwhals. This is, I believe, just like the narwhal piston filler. It's kind of their original pen, and then this one is the Narwhal Plus, I believe that one's called, which is a nice vac filler. So a bunch of different filling systems here. These two are pistons, that one's a vac, but yeah, pretty nice. And I'd say it's not outlandishly large. I mean, it is bigger than these three, but not by a whole lot, and not by all that much once we take the caps off, I don't think either. So we'll do that here in just a sec. Here are a whole bunch of stats about this that you can check out while I am removing caps and all that jazz. Hold on while I do that. Enjoy the fast motion. Okay, so you can see once you take the caps off, the 3776 is really definitely the shortest of these by a mile. But then the Nautilus here is not really much longer than the TWSBI Eco, although the nib is a little bit longer, so you have to kind of account for that when you're holding a pen. But it's not a tremendous amount longer, and I think it's a very comfortable pen to hold. The section here at 10 to like 11.8 millimeters, so you've got this like sort of this gentle gradient here, is extremely comfortable for my hand. That's really right in my right in the zone where I like my section diameters. Also, the weight on this one is maybe a little bit heavy. When it's uncapped, 18 grams, not too bad. And this is, of course, full of ink, and it does hold a fair amount of ink in that barrel. So it's yeah, it's pretty good, I think. Also, price at $160 is it's actually lower than I thought it was going to be. That's kind of like the baseline price for a Nautilus pen, and they kind of go up from there. There are even some very fancy ones that are Machiade or Ruchid and that sort of things, and those are much more expensive. But 160 to 180 I think is a great price point for this pen. It's got a steel nib, which some people really want a gold nib and a pen this price, but if you throw a gold nib on there, it's going to add another couple $100. And so, like, I don't know, I think it's pretty good at this price. Just a very good pen for everyday use. Let me clear all this up and we'll do a little writing sample here. All right, here's our Nautilus here with our double broad nib. This is a pretty nice double broad to write with. Let's give this a shot. It's a very pleasant nib to write with. It's not the most massive set of tipping on there, but I do think it's actually pretty comparable to the Jowo double broad. Let's go ahead and give you a little Jowo double broad here as well. And I think they're pretty comparable. The Jowo might be a little bit wider, but not a huge amount wider. So pretty solid double broad, and really good for writing your headings, writing a little bit larger in your notebooks and such if you like, or just using as a platform to get a really cool grind on. So this has been a really fun pen to use for the last couple of days. I haven't had it all that long, but I have had several of these Nautilus pens in the past because it is my favorite model from them. So again, thank you very much to Goldspot Pens for sending this out for me to review and show to all of y'all. Go find this at goldspot.com. Tell them I sent you. That's always nice for folks to hear. And I hope you enjoy your pen. Until next time, peace out.